For almost 2 decades, one jet ruled the sky without question: the F-22 Raptor, a machine so dominant, so lethal, that no rival dared to face it head-on. It was the silent guardian of American airspace, the symbol of unmatched supremacy. The F-47 from Boeing isn't just a new aircraft, it's a statement of dominance. This jet doesn't replace the F-22. It redefines what air superiority means. While nations like China and Russia are still reverse engineering the tech we built decades ago, the United States has already jumped to the next era of warfare. For nearly 5 years, experimental F-47 units have been flying under classified missions, fully operational, fully armed, right under the world's radar. They never saw it coming. The breakthrough that's about to change the future of aerial combat isn't some distant dream, it's already within reach. This machine is real, it's tested, and it's closer to rewriting air power history than anyone realizes. If you believe America should always lead the skies and never play catch-up, drop a yes in the comments right now. Before we break down what makes the F-47 an absolute powerhouse, let's clear the air on something everyone's been whispering about. Boeing hasn't exactly had a smooth year, from commercial jet incidents making headlines to the Starliner hiccups that left astronauts waiting for a ride home. So, the big question pops up. Can Boeing really be trusted with America's most advanced military project? Here's the part the mainstream outlets won't tell you. Boeing's military arm isn't the same crew that builds commercial airliners. This is the team that's been crafting B-52 seconds, KC-46 tankers, and orbital defense systems for generations, the real backbone of American air power. And here's the kicker. Boeing recently poured $1.8 billion into a top-secret facility in St. Louis, built exclusively for 6th-generation fighter production. That's not a gamble. That's a statement the kind of company makes when it already knows it's holding the winning hand. The Pentagon doesn't throw around $20 billion on wishful thinking. They've reviewed the prototype test flights, examined the raw data, and reached one clear conclusion. Boeing's next-generation fighter is the key to keeping America dominant in the skies for decades to come. And that name, F-47, wasn't chosen at random. It's a deliberate nod to our nation's proud aviation heritage, a symbol that blends legacy with power, a reminder to our enemies that American air superiority isn't just history, it's the future. First off, the name F-47 pays homage to a true legend, the P-47 Thunderbolt, the World War II warbird that helped turn the tide in both Europe and the Pacific. They called it the Jug for a reason. It was tough, rugged, and almost impossible to bring down. Even after taking heavy fire, it kept flying, kept fighting, and kept winning. With the ability to haul more than 2,500 pounds of bombs while still dominating dogfights, the Thunderbolt earned something priceless: the respect of allies and the fear of every enemy pilot who faced it. Secondly, the number 47 carries powerful symbolism. It marks 1947, the year President Harry Truman signed the National Security Act, officially creating the United States Air Force as a separate branch of the military. Before that defining moment, America's air power existed under the Army's command. But by the end of World War II, that force had exploded in scale, with over 80,000 aircraft and more than 2.4 million men and women serving under its wings. That year didn't just establish a new branch. It marked the birth of modern American air dominance. Here's a fact that might catch you off guard. The modern U.S. Air Force fields around 5,500 aircraft and roughly 640,000 personnel, barely a third of what it had back in 1945. But don't mistake fewer numbers for weaker strength. Thanks to decades of innovation, every single aircraft, every pilot, and every support crew member now delivers magnitudes more precision, firepower, and strategic impact than their World War II counterparts could ever dream of. Smaller force, far greater power. Donald Trump, America's 47th president, was the one who gave this project the green light. While the previous administration hesitated, even considering shelving it, Trump's team decided to push forward at full speed. This wasn't some paper project or PowerPoint contest between Boeing and Lockheed Martin. Both giants actually built and flew full-scale prototypes, secret test aircraft that have been gathering data for years. They were real, working machines, engineering test beds, logging hundreds of flight hours to validate the tech that would evolve into the F-47. That's the difference between theory and a combat-ready machine. For Boeing, securing this contract isn't just a win, it's proof that a massive gamble paid off. Even as headlines focused on their commercial aircraft troubles, the company was quietly pouring billions into a far more ambitious goal. The classified Brownlee facility in St. Louis wasn't built on a hunch or wishful thinking. It was constructed with unshakable confidence, the kind that comes only when you know your design stands above the rest. While U.S. defense contractors compete to build the most advanced aircraft on Earth, China and Russia are still reverse engineering jets we built 2 decades ago and still can't get them right. That's the difference between innovation and imitation, and it's exactly why the F-47 stands as a true game changer. Let's start with the capability that changes everything: range. The F-22 Raptor can strike targets up to 590 nautical miles away, an incredible feat for its generation, and still a serious threat today. But the F-47 changes the game entirely, pushing its combat radius past 1,000 nautical miles. That's not just a small upgrade. It's a revolution in how the United States can project air power across the globe. In the Pacific, where Allied bases are scattered across thousands of miles of open ocean, that extra range doesn't just matter, it defines who controls the skies. The F-22 can reach distant targets, but once it gets there, fuel limits cut its mission time short. The F-47, on the other hand, can push deeper, stay longer, and make it home safely, even after extended combat. It's the result of a complete redesign in how modern fighters are built. Boeing's engineers reimagined the internal structure to carry more fuel within the airframe, eliminating the need for external tanks that would expose the jet to radar detection. New lightweight composite materials make the F-47 both stronger and lighter, giving engineers the freedom to pack more capability into the same airframe footprint. The aerodynamic upgrades are just as impressive. Its tailless design doesn't only boost stealth, it also cuts drag dramatically, letting the jet fly farther and faster on the same amount of fuel. And here's the kicker. Traditional tail fins are among the most radar-visible surfaces on any fighter. By removing them entirely, the F-47 gains stealth, speed, and efficiency all at once. While China's J-20 still battles engine reliability issues, and Russia's Su-57 remains more of a propaganda piece than a real threat, the United States is preparing to deploy a jet so advanced it makes enemy aircraft outdated before they even take off. Inside the Pentagon, officials are calling the F-47's stealth profile Stealth Plus, a full step beyond the F-22's Stealth Plus and miles ahead of the F-35's baseline stealth design. So, what does all this really mean for US pilots and national defense? Even though 5th-generation stealth remains incredibly effective, the battlefield is changing fast. Both China and Russia are pouring resources into next-gen radar systems designed to spot and track stealth aircraft. They've spent years developing counter-stealth technologies, hoping to erase the edge that has kept American fighters untouchable for nearly 2 decades. The F-47's stealth technology isn't an upgrade, it's a quantum leap. Rather than just absorbing radar waves, its next-gen materials are engineered right into the airframe, allowing the jet to reshape and control its radar signature across multiple frequency bands. The F-47's wide, shovel-shaped nose isn't just for looks, it conceals a massive radar system far beyond what any current fighter can fit. This powerful array doesn't just spot enemy aircraft. It can track multiple targets at once, coordinate with allied forces, and even direct autonomous drones over incredible distances. And then there's the canard design, those small forward wings that usually hurt stealth performance. The fact that engineers included them anyway suggests something big. It means the F-47's other advantages are so advanced, so game-changing, that a little radar visibility simply doesn't matter. That kind of design confidence tells us one thing: there's a lot about this jet we still haven't been told yet. The F-47's thermal control system marks yet another major leap forward. At high speeds, most fighters build up extreme heat, a glowing target easily picked up by enemy infrared sensors miles away. But the F-47 is different. Its advanced materials and cutting-edge cooling architecture help dissipate heat efficiently, keeping its temperature signature incredibly low, even during prolonged supersonic flight. In other words, this jet doesn't just move fast, it stays invisible while doing it. This is the point where the story flips. The F-47 isn't merely an upgraded fighter, it's the central node of a new combat model. Instead of lone pilots or tight-knit flights, a single F-47 will orchestrate swarms of autonomous strike and support drones. These unmanned wingmen will carry weapons, sensors, and electronic warfare packages, all coordinated in real time by the man in the cockpit. It's less about one plane fighting, and more about one commander directing an entire distributed battle network. Picture a lone F-47 aviator directing a team of unmanned systems, each built for a different job. That multiplies battlefield punch while keeping pilots out of the most dangerous zones, managing the fight from a safer vantage. Adversaries won't face just a single superjet. They'll meet a coordinated, networked strike package, a living, adaptive formation that changes tactics on the fly as the battle unfolds. Flying that high changes everything. Operating routinely above 60,000 feet gives the F-47 major tactical advantages as threats get more advanced. Munitions released from those heights carry much farther than weapons dropped lower down. Air-to-air missiles pick up extra reach, and air-to-ground ordnance can hit targets well past the envelope of most ground defenses. In short, altitude turns range into dominance. Signal reach gets a huge boost with altitude. From 40,000 feet, line-of-sight links stretch roughly 245 miles, climb to 60,000 FT, and that window expands to about 300 miles, roughly a 22% increase. That percentage may look small on paper, but on the battlefield, it reshapes tactics. For an F-47 coordinating with drones, satellites, and other friendly assets, every extra mile of comms range raises survivability and the odds of mission success. The Air Force is aiming for about 200 NGAD fighters, backed up by at least 1,000 next-generation drones. This isn't mere numerical advantage, it's a shift in the force equation itself. Combined, manned jets and autonomous systems create a level of capability that rewrites how air battles are fought. Opposing pilots won't be entering even matches. They'll face overwhelming tech-backed odds that make meaningful resistance nearly impossible. Under current plans, every F-47 will be paired with 2 autonomous drones, while hundreds of F-35 jets supply broader support. This isn't simply adding more platforms. It's a shift from solo sorties to tightly networked battle formation. Data flows instantly across the group, and missions are executed as a single, coordinated system. Make no mistake, the F-47 program signals one thing to any nation thinking about testing U.S. air supremacy: technological dominance, plain and simple. China's J-20, impressive for a domestically produced design, still battles serious engine reliability issues and shortfalls. Some analysts argue Beijing's program leans on reverse-engineered concepts from Western designs, while struggling to field dependable turbofan engines of its own. That shortfall has pushed Chinese developers toward foreign engine sources, often relying on Russian suppliers who themselves face production and reliability challenges. Russia's Su-57 program faces even greater obstacles. Fewer than 20 aircraft have actually been completed, and the country continues to struggle with the cost of even small-scale production. Most of the Su-57s displayed at international air shows are prototype or demo models, not fully equipped for frontline combat. And when it comes to stealth, their technology remains at least a full generation behind what the United States currently fields. America is gearing up to field about 185 F-47s, supported by hundreds more F-22s, F-35s, and swarms of autonomous drones. It creates a technological gulf so vast that opposing aircraft risk being outdated before they even close with American formations. In short, the balance of power in the skies is shifting decisively in America's favor. The financial equation overwhelmingly tilts in America's favor. Yes, the F-47 comes with a hefty price tag, roughly $300 million per jet, but that's the cost of maintaining air dominance. It's an investment that guarantees U.S. pilots never enter a fight on equal terms, because the alternative, letting rivals close the technology gap, would end up costing far more, not just in dollars, but in American lives. Taking on the U.S. Air Force means going up against technology so far ahead that resistance is meaningless. With the F-47 in the skies, American pilots will never fight on equal terms. They'll fight with clear superiority in range, stealth, sensors, firepower, and battlefield coordination. While critics keep arguing about whether the F-47 will actually become a reality, Boeing is already gearing up for full-scale production. The first jets are scheduled to roll off the assembly line in 2029, right in the middle of President Trump's current term. That fast-paced schedule isn't reckless. It's the result of years of quiet development, rigorous testing, and engineering fine-tuning that most people never even knew was happening. Those prototype flights that began back in 2019 weren't for show. They were real engineering trials, proving out the advanced technologies that will help keep America secure for generations to come. The St. Louis production site stands for more than just industrial output. It symbolizes American craftsmanship, American-built aircraft, powered by American innovation. No foreign-made critical parts, no weak links in the supply chain, and no reliance on rival nations for materials that could ever endanger our national security. Critics who complain about the program's cost are missing the real point. Sure, cutting-edge defense technology demands a serious financial commitment. But think about the alternative, letting China or Russia close the gap in air dominance. That would jeopardize everything America stands for. The F-47 program prevents that from ever happening, while also creating thousands of high-paying, skilled jobs for American workers in factories across multiple states. The cutting-edge technologies created for this jet will eventually shape the future of commercial aviation, space exploration, and countless civilian industries. By the year 2030, the United States will command the skies with the most advanced fighter jet ever built, supported by cutting-edge autonomous drones, and backed by an industrial powerhouse no rival can compete with. For over 20 years, the F-22 Raptor has stood as a symbol of American air dominance, unmatched in battle, feared by every opponent, and undefeated in the skies. But now, a new legend is ready to take its place. The F-47 is more than just a next-generation fighter. It embodies the spirit of American innovation, relentless ambition, and the unshakable belief that second place is never an option. If you take pride in America's unmatched military strength and want to keep up with the cutting-edge technology that keeps our nation secure, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into how the United States continues to lead the world in air power and innovation. Thanks for watching the video. See you again.